Just a few more reserved seats, if some people can move forward, please. On tonight to see Professor Niels Harrit from the University of Copenhagen in Denmark. He's the lead author of the paper on Nano-thermite that was released back in March of 2009. This paper is yet to be questioned in any scientific way. There's been no paper or no scientific study that's disputed what's been shown in the evidence of the dust from the catastrophe at the World Trade Center. It's a terrible indictment on society today that we don't have any mainstream news here, or anyone from any of the political parties. It just goes to show that it's people like you that have to stand up and make a difference in the world today, because other people are going along to get along, and they don't really care about things like 9/11 and about the wars that have been generated. They're more concerned about their personal well-being in this age of greed. So please, you people are the truth sayers. So you must go out there and tell other people about what you learned tonight, because that's the only way anyone learns about these things these days, in the days of universal deceit. Anyway, without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Professor Niels Harrit, but I'd also like to encourage you to buy any merchandise that you can afford, and please give a donation when it's asked for later today, as there are numerous expenses, up to about $3,000 for this event, and we put it on for free. So please take that into consideration. Professor Niels Harrit.
Thank you. Thank you very much, John, for this kind introduction. I have been to Australia for about a week now, and I have met so many wonderful, friendly people. I think the Australians must be the most friendly people on earth. Before we carry on, I should say my talk is in 2 sessions. The first session will last for about an hour, and there will be an intermission where you can buy merchandise, as just announced. And the second part will be shorter. So if the intermission is about 15 minutes, we might run out in a total of 2 hours. Now, before starting, I wish to suggest 3 guidelines for the proper conduct of proceedings. First, you may cheer in support and encouragement during the presentation. Second, you may ask questions as they come up. The only stupid question is the one not being asked. The only stupid question is the question not being asked. So please, if you have any questions, just raise your hand and we'll take it on the fly. But these questions should deal with whatever is going on up here. And what will happen up here will be facts, or presenting facts and realities. So for that reason, you are not allowed to forward any political statements or opinions, because we're not discussing politics, we're discussing facts and realities. And here are 2 very real objects as they presented themselves to the world prior to September 11, 2001, the Twin Towers. The photographer is facing the east. Apparently, this picture is taken from New Jersey. So you have the Hudson River in the front, and you have south to the right, and you have north to the left, and we are facing east on the other side of Manhattan. So this is the North Tower, which was finished in 1970 at a height of 417 meters, and on top of that there was a TV antenna of about 100 meters. The South Tower was finished in 1973. Now the weight of these towers were roughly 300,000 tons. This has been disputed, actually. And the low estimate is 250,000 tons for the bare tower. If we add to the cables, elevators, coffee machines, computers, furniture, people, let's say 300,000. This is not important. what is important is that about 90,000 of these tons were steel, because this was a steel frame pyrizer built around a core, 47 columns and 236 perimeter columns. I'm just mentioning this as an introduction for you to get the impression that these were sturdy buildings. Here you see the columns, these are workers. We'll return very much to this aspect later. Now, here they stood on the morning of September 11th, and in the streets were a crew, a TV crew, a French TV crew, who had been following a rookie, which is a young man aspiring to be a firefighter. And they have been chasing him for about a month and nothing had happened. This morning, there was, to the station where he was located, an alarm. A smell of gas has been detected in one of the small streets in Manhattan. So what we're seeing actually is the fire chief himself going out checking for gas. It is completely unrelated to the rest of the story, but this is what happened.
It was 8:46 in the morning.
And then we heard a plane come over, and in Manhattan, you don't hear planes too often, especially loud ones.
Now this was 14 minutes to 9, and it was the North Tower, the one with the antenna, which was hit first. 17 minutes go by.
I've seen it from the front angle before, but not from this angle.
So the South Tower was hit the latest. Then 56 minutes later, this thing happened.
This is as close as we can get to the base of the World Trade Center. You can see the firemen assembled here, the police officers, FBI agents, and you can see the two towers. A huge explosion now, raining debris on all of us.
I have the same event in another recording where you can see that actually the top starts tilting.
To fall away from the rest of the building. If we go to the tape now, here we go right here. This is, I mean, when you look at it, the building has collapsed. That tower just came down.
Let's go to Bob Bursill, who was at St. Vincent's Hospital. Bob.
Well, about half an hour later, at 10:30, well, you know what we're expecting to see now. This is the North Tower with the antenna. If you want to, you can see the antenna going down first. Same event, this time taken from New Jersey. On the distance, you will see how huge the towers were. But this is not what we are going to talk about, at least not for the first hour or so. Because until a couple of years ago, I thought that the World Trade Center were the two towers, but the World Trade Center was the center. It consisted of 7 buildings in total, and they have numbered, the North Tower has number 1, the South Tower is number 2, number 3, the Marriott Hotel is about 22 stories lining the back, number 4, number 5, and number 6 were relatively small buildings, but World Trade Center 7, which is located